guys? Welcome to Pop 411 Podcast, your weekly podcast for all things nerd culture. I am Ireland, and this is my co-host.
Carlos, what's up, y'all?
What up, guys? Hello, darlings. So, happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we're in December now.
We are in December now, finally. If you
Wow.
couldn't tell what we're wearing, if you can see what we're wearing, I'm literally in a peppermint stick blue
You are
onesie.
a peppermint stick.
Call me Peppermint Patty.
Peppermint patty.
Gosh.
I like it.
Right?
I like it. Yes.
I feel like it's something off the Peanuts.
We're in our comfy pajamas.
And you're in your spectacular Nightmare Before Christmas with
Nice
Jack
is overrated,
Skellington.
y'all. Nice
It
is
is.
overrated.
It very much is.
Yes.
So we wanted to I definitely want to talk about, because I don't think we talk I don't think it's ever talked about in your culture. Like the stuff we had is like most memorable things about Christmas, like things that you got as a kid, like that you loved, that I don't know, something your parents could have thrown away. Like I feel like we need to have like Christmas stories,
Like a
pop
Christmas
culture,
story chat?
pop
Okay.
culture related,
All right.
full thing.
Okay. I like that.
Like cool stuff.
Yeah, let's do that.
Like the good, the bad, the ugly.
Ooh.
What are some of your fondest memories?
Yeah.
What are some of like your nightmares from the holiday season?
Okay.
Kick it off nerd culture, like
I
pop
like
culture
that.
status.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
Let's do it.
So let's start off with, I think we should start off with the good stuff, right? Like what was some of your fondest memories? Like the coolest present that you ever got when you were a kid?
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
But like it was when they came out with
the tracks.
No, actually it was where they came out with like a Power Wheels.
Oh, yeah.
So I got a Jeep. Like my grandparents had gotten me a Jeep. I mean, it was from Santa, right? But I got a Jeep, and essentially I thought I was cool for having a Jeep. But I mean, technically, it was for me to take to the barn with the bottles to feed the calves.
There
So,
was a
like,
method for all of
There
it.
was a method to it, because they hooked up my little red flyer wagon to it.
Oh, they did?
They
So they just
did.
put...
They did, and then I could just, because it's one of those that have like the actual wooden sides on it,
Right.
so it would hold the bottles for the calves. And they were just like, okay, you can drive this back down and forth to the barn. And I was like so excited to do chores, even more so in the snow.
Oh, yeah, because
they
you're
could
able to
go.
drive. You're actually
Yeah.
able to drive. That's awesome.
Mhm.
How old were you?
6, 7. I was like 6.
Yo, Churin, go out in the snow and go feed
Right?
the calves, y'all.
We'll get you to do your chores one way or the other. So
We'll make
yeah,
it fun.
yeah, that's what it was. So that was like the coolest thing. I mean, I thought I had won the lottery with that. I was like, I mean, because we didn't have much, like at the time, like I think we had just gotten floors, running water, and electricity put into our
Wow.
house. And so like I was like, I get my own car, like my own Jeep. Like I was stoked.
That's pretty
So
cool.
I thought I was rolling, man.
Yeah.
Thought I was a big cheese in the house.
You're like, I'm so fucking cool.
right? Look at me go, yeah. Now
Look at me go. Look
it
at me
started.
go.
It literally started the downfall of the adrenaline junkie. Like must race everything. I swear that's where it started.
Mm.
But it was
Yeah.
fun.
I think I don't know.
Not for you, though.
There was a couple of different ones, right? Like every kid growing up when I grew up, it was a bike. So getting your first bike, like I got a bike,
Oh,
one of my bikes
yeah.
for Christmas, and I remember it was like a really cool blue bike, but it came unassembled. Like Santa Claus delivered it unassembled.
So it was just in a box.
Yeah, it was in a box. So
What?
my
I
dad
don't
had
think
my
I've
dad had
ever
to put it together.
So the first time I knew that bikes didn't come assembled was like my mom was a nighttime manager receiving for Walmart. That was like one of the, she had multiple full-time jobs
Yeah.
at the same time, because we were dirt poor. So that's what she was doing, but they had great benefits. So she would work the night receiving. And they have this program where at the time you could bring your child into work to see what you did, kind of like job shadowing, right? And
You too can be working here.
right? Absolutely. And so, I mean, they used to have all these programs for Walmart where they used to have, you could get certain pens if you were
Oh.
employed, that you would excel, like was kind of like
So cool awards.
yeah, you got awards with them. You got days off. You got bonuses. Like they used to have cool stuff with that. I remember. So I got this cool little pen for job shadowing her. Like they had special pens for the kids that came in. But she would get them off the truck, and I'm watching her unload this truck, and I'm like, well, what are these boxes? She's like, bicycles. And I'm like, what? She's like, we have to put them together.
Mhm.
And I watched them take them out on the pallet. and the pallet jack, take it over to the bike section, and they would just put them based upon UPCs, and I would just watching people build bikes, and I was like, I mean, I was 8 at the time, and I was like, this is insane. I did not know that
Wild.
they were unassembled. I
Wild.
mean, it makes sense for shipping
Yeah, you just
purposes.
automatically assume that they're there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just think that.
So I don't know how my dad got it. I guess
Okay.
he just, he ordered it unassembled because it's cheaper to
You
order
you
unassembled,
can,
right?
yeah. I mean, they have that option
Yeah.
where if it was like for Christmas, they would line up the ones that, just to get the inventory on the floor,
Hmm.
or it could have been something where they had the model on the floor
Yeah.
and they just didn't have it built.
Yeah.
And so they would just bring in a
Yeah.
box,
And so we spent Christmas Day
building your
assembled
bike.
it. So he built my bike, right? And this is at the time where we lived in the trailer park. So the moment that he built it and he's like, all right, here's your bike, dude, I fucking took off.
Yeah.
And I remember like going around the corner and I'm flying. I'm like, for a kid, you're
Mhm.
flying. and the fucking handlebars just drop as I'm going full speed, right?
They came loose.
They came loose and they just went, whook. And
Did
I'm
you
like,
go over?
no, I'm like, holy shit, this thing they just went loose. And I'm looking down and then I look up and there's just neighbor's wall. Just fucking slammed right into the wall.
Oh no. Oh
I
no.
ate it so hard, dude.
Did it break the bike at
No,
all?
no, it didn't break the bike because
Wow.
it basically hit the
tire.
The tire hit the bottom, and then I went forward, and then I slammed into the wall. Right, so
Oh.
so that was
How old were you?
oh god, probably like 7.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So your bones are super resilient
Oh yeah,
at
yeah,
that
no,
time.
no.
They're
And
like,
then,
oh yeah.
and then I
You're not gonna like
was
fall
I
and
had
have
the wind
arthritis.
knocked out of me,
Oh yeah, I bet.
and I
'cause
was
you hit like your sternum.
I was hurting a little bit, but then I got back up and I kind of just walked my bike back over and I pulled my dad and he kind of went through. But I loved that bike. Like that bike was it was freedom, right? You're just cruising around the trailer park, like going to visit your friends, like doing all kinds of cool hood rat things.
Things.
But that was awesome because I generated a lot of memories from that.
With that bike,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I had a bike hand me down from my aunt. I mean, I remember when I obviously got my first one, it was pink and purple. Like,
Mhm.
I remember that. And I love that like color combination. I thought it was amazing. But our lane was a half a mile long. That's how far our lane was from the little 2-lane highway that was connected to it. It didn't have any shoulders to let you know. Like, if you crossed over on the outside of that line, you were in the ditch. Like, there was no buffer room at all. So it was a half mile. So we weren't allowed to take our bikes up to wait for the bus. We had to walk it.
Oh no.
So, I mean, it wasn't an option. Like my parents were like, absolutely not. So, I mean, the only time that I actually got to like ride the bike was like bored riding up and down the lane, go get the mail for them or something like that. Yeah, I didn't really get to.
Like take off and like
No, there was nothing, because on each side of our lane was hayfields.
oh, okay.
So, I mean, you got this gravel road,
Right.
this little gravel driveway, and each side of it was hayfields where we would actually do the round bales, which are way larger than the square bales, and it was on each side. So there was really nowhere for me to
To just
go.
fly, right?
No.
Just go. Oh,
Mm-mm.
okay. Yeah, the trailer park was enclosed, right?
I was like, yeah. So you probably just got to go.
So we
everywhere.
just got to go everywhere. You meet up with your friends, and then everybody's on their bikes.
See,
riding
yeah,
around.
but that's why I liked my Power Wheels because I was actually like, I can take this through the hayfields.
I'm going off roading, y'all. Let's
Right?
go.
Like, that's where it started. That's where it started. That's when I knew that I was lost to being a girl and I was just going to be like straight off road in the mud, fucking shit up.
Yeah, that bike was also where I learned about how quick your parents are.
Oh,
Like I was notorious for getting in trouble, and so
no.
I don't know. I said something. I can't remember what I said. I think it was like M or F or something like that. And my mom
Okay.
was like, "What the fuck did you say?" And I ran. I fucking took off outside. I went out the
She
front
was
door.
like,
I got on my bike and I'm like pedaling. And the next thing I know, dude, it's just like because the back of the bike had a little handle on the back of it.
right.
Just got yanked. And just got my ass kicked in the middle of the
You got
street.
your ass beat in
I
the middle of
got
the
my ass
street.
beat
Come
in the
back
middle of the
here.
street.
What are you going to say to me?
Yeah, what'd you say?
I'm going to fuck you up.
Like bike, you didn't help me here. I couldn't go fast enough. Why?
You were supposed to be there. You were my support.
You're my
You let me
support. I loved
down.
you.
Let me down. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I think another one that was really memorable was Voltron. Like I really wanted to get Voltron,
Oh.
and Santa Claus at the time came over and brought the wrong Voltron. So it wasn't the Lions, right? It was the Cars Voltron. So it
Right.
wasn't that cool. I mean, if you like the Cars, cool, you like that one. But the
Right.
Lions was what I wanted, and I remember being so
You're
heartbroken.
like, Santa didn't read my letter.
Santa didn't read my letter. He didn't understand, and my dad got pissed. He's like, "What the fuck, dude? Like what?" And he didn't
He didn't
he
know.
didn't get it, right? But
Right?
I was super geeky, right? Like I really wanted to
You're
get.
like, I've read this lore. I know
I've
I
watched the
want this.
cartoons. Like I really really want this. So we went the day after Christmas to go return it and actually get the
Did you get
actual.
it?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. I got the Lions, and I was so
At
hyped.
least he did that though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it
At least
was
he didn't say you were just stuck with it.
yeah. It was close, but then my mom stepped in and was like, "No, no, no.
Oh.
Get him what he wanted. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's time to fix that shit. Get him what he wanted."
Santa didn't mean to.
Santa didn't mean to. Yeah. So that was another one that was actually really cool. What about you?
When I got Dino Riders.
Dino Riders.
Dino Riders, I think it was an accidental gift that should have been. I think one of my uncles got it for me because I mean I was the oldest, and the oldest girl at that in a sea of 10 men, 10 boys. So I think it was like kind of like a gag thing. Like they were just trying to see if how I'd react to it. I fucking loved it. I love Dino Riders. It was based off of like a toy, and Tycho decided to make just like a short cartoons about it. I fucking loved it.
Yeah,
Have you ever you remember
I
that?
remember that.
I fucking loved it.
I remember Dino Riders. So you just played the shit out of them.
Well, I did, and then I kept watching the cartoon like religiously
Yeah.
on the VHS.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was pretty cool. Some other cool stuff that I can remember that was like super nerdy. Um, trying to think. Because we really didn't get a whole lot for Christmas.
Yeah, I know.
I
It
mean, my
was
birthday was literally like right
a
after
couple
it.
gifts,
So
right?
yeah, it was probably like, I mean, you had two from the parents, and then you were like you got three from Santa, and like that was like a full shebang. I mean, when you have like as many kids as like my parents had and everything else, we just there wasn't that much of a budget for things, but yeah, I got like a Barbie random here and there. I got like a holiday Barbie, and I wanted like I was like, okay, I really don't do Barbies, but this. I mean, she was pretty. She was in this elaborate
Mm.
glam, looked like she came straight out of like Dallas, the TV show, like just to the top. And I was like, oh, I want to get it out, and I'm just like, oh no, it's sacred. I must keep her in the box and keep her pretty. Because I mean, I had younger siblings that just wanted to just havoc everything.
No, sure. Just rip everything
So
apart.
yeah, exactly. Like my younger sister was notorious for popping all the heads off the Barbies and shoving them back on. And once you dislocate the head, that ball joint,
Yeah.
and you try to put it back on, I mean, obviously it'll go back on, but it won't go on. Like the joint just rolls around in her head,
Mm.
so she just sounds like a fucking rattle, and then she has no neck. So she instantly goes from a civilian to a straight Marine, like no neck. And she just rattles. So it was like one of those things where I'm like, well, you kind of killed this. Um, Another thing, it was just random that Rudolph actually brought it to
Oh,
me.
Rudolph brought
It
it.
was
Okay.
Rudolph. It was the Little Tykes Kitchen.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if like my parents felt bad because
They gave you a kitchen.
I had such a manly male influenced upbringing that they were like, hey, you need a kitchen to play house or whatever.
You're
But
like, fuck that.
like, no, it was cool and stuff. And like,
You're like, make me a sandwich. Barbie, make me a sandwich.
beach, make me one. No, I had a lot of younger siblings. So I was very like nurturing. So I was like, oh, I'll make you something. Like, and then I just hit him in the head with the fake food. Clearly, we knew that there was a temper issue, but nobody wanted to address it.
There was you're just talking about really cool memories, like some of the best memories that I had. So on Christmas Eve, we would always go to my grandfather's house, and my grandfather lived maybe a couple blocks away from our house,
Mm.
and he would, he'd have like a full spread of food and stuff like that.
Oh, yummy.
And he lived with this lady that he ended up, not my grandmother, but like this other lady that he ended up living with her for like 35 years. Or
Oh
something
my
like that. Like, they were
gosh.
partners, but he
Yeah,
never got married.
domestically. Yeah, that makes sense.
Domestic partners, because he wasn't the type to settle down after he got married the first time.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He had
I mean,
PTSD and didn't feel
yeah,
like he was just going to
didn't-
do
didn't-
it.
and he was his
He
own
didn't want to
kind of
ruin
dude,
it.
right? Like he
Yeah.
was he was that kind of person. But it was so cool because we'd go there and there was always this lady. She was an older lady, but she was related to the lady that he lived with, his domestic partner. Um, she was half native.
Oh, that's awesome.
Her name was Pat, and I loved history, and we would always talk about because she was a nurse in World War II.
Oh,
And
snap.
dude, I loved just
Hearing the
hearing her talk
stories.
about the different stories that she had. And I looked forward to that every year. Every single year, I was just like, I can't wait to talk to Pat. She's got these really cool stories. I want to hear more about
Mm.
what happened in her experiences in World War II because it's so fascinating. History was so fast, still is fascinating to me, but like just firsthand accounts of
Yeah.
what was going on, and it just made it so fucking cool. But the other part of it was like my parents, and this is like how we figured out that Santa Claus, they were Santa Claus. Later on, as we got older, they held it for a long time, but they would always forget something. They would be like, "Oh, you know what? We forgot our toothbrush. We need to get our toothbrushes in order to be able to," because we were going to midnight mass
Oh,
church.
I love going to
Yeah.
midnight mass.
So we would always do that.
I
So they would
freaking
go
love
get the
that.
toothbrushes, bring them to us, and we'd brush our teeth. We didn't never thought anything of it, but that's when they would go like put the presents down, like
Oh,
put
that's
all that
cool.
stuff together. So we would go to church, midnight mass, which is 2 hours long. But we knew that when we got
Like
back,
Catholic midnight
yeah,
mass?
Catholic
That
midnight
makes
mass.
sense.
It was super long, but we knew that when we got back,
Santa had already
Santa had
came.
already got here, right?
See, that's
And
cool.
so we talk little kids, be like, "Did you see Rudolph? Santa's here. Santa's here. Santa made it." And all the time, like the lights would be on, the tree would be lit, like everything. So it
Dude,
just
that's
made it
crazy.
super,
Nostalgia. Yeah, it's like a
yeah,
memory you hold on
fun,
to.
magical. Like to know that our parents went out of their way to kind of provide that kind of
Right.
magic,
Right.
even
I
though
mean,
we
that's
were
what
poor.
they
It was
said that
still
like
cool.
the memories you have are because your parents made it magical. So
Yeah.
for example, like, good thinking about that and like doing midnight mass and stuff. So we went to this church. I think it was Methodist, even though I was like raised Lutheran. Um, but we would go to it and we would do candlelight service. So it'd be candlelight service. You'd get to church at like 11 o'clock at midnight or like 11 o'clock, and they,
11.
they would go through it. But I thought it was so cool because number one, I like the choir. I
Yeah.
loved choir.
Yeah, because that's when they bring
Um,
out the choir.
I mean, I'm not so much big on uniform religion. I like learning about the
Mhm.
different types of religion, but I love the choir. And something about is something you're like very just magical about hearing the choir, and they'd always dim the lights and they give you a freaking candle.
Oh yeah, you get the
Right? So,
candle.
and
Yeah.
it's full fire and it's a wax candle. And I remember the little like sleeve it had with it. It wasn't in a cup.
So you
It
didn't
was
burn
just,
your
it was just a disc.
just a
And I would
disc.
be like
It's a little cardboard disc.
making like, no, we had
No
paper.
paper
And
disc.
we'd be like making like, I'd be playing with the wax and doing all, I mean, I was so excited with it. You got to wear something cool. So like my grandmother would always make dresses. So I would have like a special Christmas dress. Um, which would be the only time I'd wear a dress ever for the year. And I remember would have a coat, like a super cute coat with it that she would make. And then I'd go to candlelight service and we'd come back and you'd just be exhausted because it's an hour drive. So
Oh jeez.
you're gone for like 3-4 hours
Yeah,
type of
it's
thing,
late.
right?
It's late,
It's
late.
so late. So we get home at like beyond late. And I remember because it would always snow where we were and it always frost and like my dad would make sure to stick multicolored lights around my window.
Mhm.
So I'd be laying in bed and my room was always connected to the living room because it technically wasn't a bedroom, but they made it
They turned it into one. Yeah.
well, I mean, the house only had 4 rooms in it.
Ah.
So they had to make a room.
We're gonna find a room for you.
Right, basically. And so I would be laying in bed and I could see like the tree in the living room, but like my window here would also have the multicolored lights and they would be frosty. So they would put out this really cool glow. And I would always be like, oh, I can't look. I remember hearing like presents rustle and stuff, and I would turn around and I would like hide. I'm like, because if I looked at Santa, if I
He
looked for him,
disappears.
he would disappear. And I didn't want to do that. So now every time that I always have a tree. Well, you saw there's always a tree in my house where it always has multicolored lights and it has traditional ornaments, and it's just to have that. And I always leave it on. It's just for that nostalgia effect to it. But it was just so cool. And even after I found out that like I remember it was like after doing school registration, I think it was like 8. 8 was a very like life changing, shaping
Mhm.
year for me. But my mom would have to physically go and register you for school. I remember driving back and she's like, there's something I need to tell you. And I
Oh
was like, what? And she's like, the Easter Bunny's not real.
no.
And I was like, You sure? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, then why did you say there's one? And she's like, cousin. I'm like, no, he can still be real. Like I was always in denial. And then she was like, well, Santa's not real either. I said, you don't know that. I remember this day. I was like, you don't know that. And she's like, I actually know that. And I was like, so it's you and dad? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, no, he's still real. And to this day, like this is the stupidest thing ever. So because I'm allergic to artificial cinnamon, which is in everywhere at every store right now, and every candle, I will get a couple things for myself in July.
Mhm.
I will wrap it and totally put it with like another stack of like things that I've got, like the cats or whatever. And I will pull those out of the closet in December when tree, and I will put it there, and I will totally forget what it was because it's not something I would normally get myself. I keep it under $100, but it's just like just small things, and I totally forget it. So by the time Christmas comes around, I'm like, oh, Santa's real. You know what I mean? Like it's just like stupid. Whatever. Judge me all you want. Fuck off. But
Yeah,
it's
no,
just like it's just to keep the magic alive. You
it
know what I
is.
mean? Because like my cats are my kids,
Yeah.
and that's like my whole foreseen future. So I still want to keep that nostalgia memory alive, and so to me, like that's the coolest thing ever.
It is.
Like I
It is
get
really
so
cool.
excited because I'm like the cats get to the point now where like Loki, is the mascot running around, and he's got several Christmas outfits, but he gets into it. So like Christmas morning, he's like pulling the paper, or, like biting in, clawing at the paper on his presents and stuff, like stuff. And I'm like, okay, you're opening it up for the Tobean squad. So he gets into it too, and I really appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Or they
Like,
all get like you'll get everyone to initiate like jumping in
and
the
then everybody
wrapping
jumps in the
paper.
pile. And,
It's so much fun. It's like dogs and leaves outside in the yard. So it's super cool.
yeah, I was an altar server, an altar boy.
I'm so sorry.
So for midnight mass, we'd have to get there like 10:45
So many jokes, so little
to
time.
do all kinds of all the prep. And
Oh,
everything that
that's
you
what they
needed in
call
order
now.
to-
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
the prep. So I got to hold the incense and like
You
do
can
the whole
have the
incense
drink
ceremony.
this wine.
Yeah, drink the wine. Here, forget about all the things.
Right? Oh yeah, because you had to
Yeah,
swing
I had to swing the incense and stuff like that. So it was like it was wild.
you had to
Just
walk down the
yeah,
aisle
walk down
swinging
swinging
it.
the incense and like doing
I would
all
have
that
beat
stuff.
someone with that.
It was still cool memories because, like you said, the choir was there, and it was just like a
Yeah.
whole lot of like good energy.
Well, I mean, because
The feeling was good.
also for me, like growing up in like upstate,
Upstate.
northern Missouri, we always got snow and stuff because the Canadian jet
Oh,
stream
yeah.
that front would dip down, and we would be cold as Maine. Like
Yeah.
we're colder than New York City
Wow.
at all times. Like there's winters where we spend where it never got above 100 or it never got above negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit from the wind and stuff. Like we got pelted. So, and my dad will still tell this story to the day. He's like, there was 13 inches of snow when you were born. It was a flat out blizzard. And I was like, okay. Okay. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm like, it's fucking 86 here in Texas and I hate it. So, but yeah, it's just, it's part of that whole memory. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
You just associate it with it. You're out of school, you got to go do this. You got to put on your robes, go down and beat people with the incense. It's like mirth or whatever they were doing it. Yeah.
Frankincense.
Yep.
Yeah, and then once you have kids, I wanted to keep the same kind of tradition.
Is that what you did?
Yeah,
You-
yeah, with
Oh,
the
that's
kids.
cool.
So we would, we'd do the thing. We'd go, because we would spend some time with my parents. We'd spend some time with my in-laws, and then we'd come back.
Mhm.
The kids would go to sleep,
And you
then
do
of
the same
course we do
thing?
the same thing. We put out the presents. I'd always make sure to write letters for them. For the
Oh, did you eat the
kids.
cookies?
Yeah, I ate the
Oh,
cookies.
you ate the cookies.
I drank
That's
the milk, like
amazing.
all of that stuff, right? So they felt
Amazing.
like it was.
Did you eat all the cookies or did you take like a few bites and
I
leave some?
I ate all the cookies except for one that I took the last bite of, right?
Okay.
And so
Okay.
I would write them a whole letter about like how they were good and what they did, and
Oh,
thank
that's
you, like all this stuff,
adorable.
right? So they could feel like
Well, they're super appreciative. Like they're such good kids.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
magic.
they're not like kids anymore, but
no. But I
It's
just
like
wanted to
but
make
it's
sure
like
that they felt the same
magic that
I
you
did.
had.
Yeah,
Oh,
keep it
see?
alive. And I think that one of the things that people say, because they're like, oh well, Santa's not real. No, but the energy and the feeling is real,
Right.
and I want everybody to feel that same
Right.
warmth.
Like there's the warmth
and
and
love
magic
and
and the
magic.
imagination to it.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
we would watch like because we had two channels growing up, and
Same.
on the rabbit ears, right? That you'd have to like aluminum foil to get it right. Not dating ourselves or anything, but like we would watch like. We would time it down where Rudolph would be playing at like 7 o'clock. I'm like, they do the countdown to Christmas, and you would be like, the Peanuts Christmas, like
Yep.
Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yep.
They would do Rudolph. They would do like
Yep.
those.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah,
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
yeah. They did all those,
The Charlie Brown Christmas, which was freaking awesome.
and
And then
then
Santa and the Three Bears was another one that was
never
actually
seen
really
that.
good. You should see it. It's old school, but it's
That's
it's
so
really good.
cool.
But just I mean, all of those things just make you. It also fuels your imagination, which I
Right.
think is
So
so cool.
so for me though, like getting up Christmas morning, we always got up at like 7:30, and because we weren't. No, it was about the time we always got up, and my mom had been up for like an hour and a half, 2 hours before that, which is typical of her. She's always up like 4:30 in the morning. Um, and so we would do our Christmas, and then we would put in one of our Christmas outfits or
Oh
sweaters
yeah,
or
yep.
whatever that we got, because we
Dress
always got a
nice. Yeah,
sweater
dress nice.
like Ron and fucking Harry Potter. Like Mrs. Weasley would make us a sweater. It's what it felt like. And then from there we would go to my father's mother, like his parents. So we would go there, and we would do Christmas lunch, and we had gifts there. But I always had to play the organ. Yes, I know how to play the organ and the piano. Shocking for a lot of people, but yeah, I had, again, as part of this etiquette class that my father's mother put me through,
Yep.
because
Yep. Yep.
got to be a
Prim and
lady,
proper.
like a debutante, right? Like bougie ass shit. So I had to play the organ and like sing happy birthday to Jesus. It was like this whole thing they did, right?
Happy birthday to the Lord.
Right. Happy birthday, baby Jesus. Right. And whatever. And do all that shit. That's not how I sing, I promise. And then from there we would do that. And then I'm like, okay, it's cool hanging out with my uncles, my aunts. I felt like the pygmy, because everyone's 6 foot and taller. Even my aunts that they married, so whatever. Now then I go to my mom's parents, which was, I always call my grandmother, and I loved them. She was native and stuff. Everything is made from scratch. And it was just much more of a fun, relaxed atmosphere. It's just, because she would start Christmas, we would start celebrating 15 days beforehand. So she would do this bake-a-thon where we would start baking all these goods and bake all the sweets and these different types of cookies. And we would make homemade fudge, which I know how to make, oddly enough. I am so domesticated, it hurts. Like I can open my own bakery. Like we had this thing growing up called 4-H.
Oh yeah.
And this is how
Yep.
rural
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
going
Yep.
here.
Rural.
And not
Rural.
only was I like doing like computer programming at that young age, but I was also like showing cattle, doing all that stuff. But we actually had like
Do you ever show pigs?
I couldn't. I love the pigs too much.
Ah.
So no.
Hmm.
No.
Hmm.
No, it always broke my heart. But yeah, there's sheep. I've shown sheep before, just doing that kind of thing. And then it was just, so my grandmother was the cooking instructor, like, because, people from the community are like your SMEs, right?
Yeah, you're
And
just me on
so they
this.
would just teach you. And like, so she would do this whole baking thing. So we would be making stuff ridiculous. Like all this homemade fudge, all these random cookies, all these peppermint barks. We would just go to town. So there was 2 whole separate card tables that were literally piled of sweets. And everyone wonders why, as a kid, I was like 180 pounds.
Yeah.
This is why. My grandmother was a professional, like, she would do professional cakes.
Okay.
She would make the homemade buttermilk,
So there was always good
the
stuff to
the
eat.
butter mints,
Oh.
the homemade ones that they used to have at weddings all the
Mm-hmm.
time. The soft, oh my God. She'd make all this stuff for days. And so, like I said, I was a fat kid, like utterly a fat kid. So it's just like those memories. So like now, unfortunately for you and your family, I'm going to do the same thing.
Excellent.
You guys are getting all of these sweets, and you're going to be like,
I want all the
what's
sweets."
all this shit? And that's what it is. Just because I'm just so excited for, this is just what I did. And unfortunately, like I wish that circumstances were different with my nieces and nephews, and that we did things like that.
Right.
And because I would be, I don't have kids, but I would be doing the same thing. I'd be making it as magical as
Yeah,
possible.
make it
so.
magic, man, while you can.
Yeah,
Make it
I
magic while you
mean,
can because it's important.
if I could, I would. And I'm pretty sure if my siblings had say they would too, but they're not in a situation, none of them are,
Yeah.
to where they actually are pulling the strings on that. So
Mm.
life be life, and
Life,
man.
life, life is good in life.
But that's the
Sometimes.
magic is
Yeah.
amazing. Like,
You know the present I hated to get
what did you hate
as
to
I
get?
got older? Clothes. I just,
Why?
because it was the same shit. It was like socks, underwear, pair of pants, like stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude, why? Like, I like toys. I've
Right?
always loved toys. I still love toys. Like, give me a toy
I
so I can play with a toy.
right. I think after 8, because of the whole like my parents splitting, and it was definitely a horrible time in my life. I stopped. The toys stopped. Like they stopped altogether. I still go buy a holiday Barbie. I still keep up with some traditions. Okay. But I was actually excited when I would get clothes because I would get my mom knew that I was kind of an odd one. So she would go get the like Adidas, the tearaway, the snap pants. Like I was very excited for that. I was very excited for double XL, extra large and baggy sweatshirts.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like my normal attire that I would
That was
wear
your gear.
out.
Yeah.
Or like this super baggiest t-shirt. I look like Billie Eilish, like literally, but a fat version of it. And no boobs. So like, you just go through that awkward stage, but I loved clothes. I loved clothes.
That's why you have a ton of clothes.
I got clothes and I got CDs.
Oh, CDs.
At the time,
Yeah. You
I
get
got like a
CD.
Discman, like the portable thing.
Oh yeah, like the Walkman.
Yeah, the
like
disc
that, the
actually
Discman.
became a
Yeah,
Discman.
Yeah, Walkman to Discman.
Walkman was the tape.
Yeah. Walkman, Discman. It's wild, right?
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah.
became the iPod.
I had one of them.
The
I actually had a
iPod Shuffle.
Zune.
You had Zune.
I still have my
Yeah.
Zune. I love my
Those were
Zune.
pretty cool.
Dude, I'm telling you what, I always tell everyone, it's a shame that Microsoft let it go with the Zune because the tech in that just trampled anything the
Yeah, it was
iPod
really
came
good.
out
It was
with.
really good. Really good.
I mean, the only thing Apple had going for it at the time was they had those see-through clear PCs, which I thought were the fucking bomb at the
The
time.
iMacs.
Yeah,
The old
those are so
iMacs,
cool.
yeah.
We would fight for those in computer class just to get who's gonna get the purple one.
Who
I
gets
would
the
be like,
colored one?
I'm gonna beat someone for that purple one. If you can't tell by the lights behind us, that is my favorite color. So I was just like, I will
Purple.
beat someone for the purple one.
Give me your purples.
Let's see. Worst Christmas memory ever.
Ooh, worst one. I don't know, man. Like Christmas was always pretty special. Like all the time. It was
Like outside of family, was there anything like outside of family that was like you were
No.
like, fuck this?
I can't. No, Christmas was always like that was a spot that was pretty cool.
I think for me, it's not, I'm not materialistic. So it's not about the presents or the quantity of presents. It was always about the decorating, the baking, candlelight mass, if that was still a thing. It was just kind of like seeing everyone and seeing your family type of perspective. And it really, I'd say the worst memory was me where I got with an individual who didn't believe in that.
Oh,
Didn't believe
oh,
in Christmas.
Oh, that's rough. That's
Wouldn't
really
allow me
rough.
to decorate. Screamed it was just another day, just fucking deal with it. I had the same thing about my birthday. So obviously there's no presents underneath the tree, or anything of that such. I mean, I still would go get things for them, but it was never, I was allowed one tree. I wasn't allowed to do any other decorations or get anything. So I was back to like handcrafting, making my own ornaments and doing that kind of thing. So it was just really depressing.
Yeah, because
You know what I mean?
you've grown up with it being a
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
for somebody who
Just the
it's not a
baking
thing
and things like
for,
that,
yeah,
and then not being able to like just cold turkey, and then getting
because it's something you love. So
yeah,
it's
then
like,
being in a hostile environment where you're not
suppressing it.
allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks so bad.
yeah, I think if we're gonna go down that route, I think the first year that my mom, after she passed away, because my mom passed away in August, and we were celebrating in Christmas that year, right? So
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that was just not to have her around, like not to hear her voice, not to like, because she always, like, the holidays were her thing. Thanksgiving and Christmas were like her thing. So not having her around that year, and just kind of like my dad trying to put up the lights and do all the things that like my mom would direct him to do, and
He was a mess.
not executing it the way she wanted to, was probably hard,
Oh
right?
no,
So that
yeah.
was probably the hardest Christmas, but you still keep moving forward, right? You still do because
Yeah.
you're like, mom would have wanted us to be able to do this and that, right? So
Yeah.
I think that was probably one of the more challenging Christmases. But yeah,
Definitely the same when my grandma passed.
yeah.
So she passed in May or passed in March, like right before like my senior year. It was at my senior year, like right before I graduated. But she was my guardian for years.
Hmm.
And it was really hard that year because you didn't realize that she was the glue that held everyone together. So as soon as she passed, we stopped doing everything.
Yeah.
We stopped doing Thanksgivings. We stopped doing Christmas. There was no more baking. My mom tried to decorate like a little bit here and there, but the spark just died out of her for doing it. And it was really unsettling. Like my mom was literally like, she was featured in Better Homes and Gardens
Wow.
because she decorated some bougie people's house. And it was done so well that like, I don't know how it got around, but anyway, her works in magazines.
That's fucking
And it
cool.
was just crazy
That's really
because you're
cool.
like, this lady's a welder. And then she's decorating
She's
like a
creative.
boss.
Yeah.
And it was just magical. And just to see that kind of just
Hmm.
tinker out was just like, I shall make up for it, mother. Watch me. I will decorate everything. It will be the North Pole here. That was kind of like,
I will carry on.
I will carry the torch. And once you see it, you will love it. I promise. I will not let you down. It's kind of like
I'm not gonna let you down, Mom.
it's like the
I got
main
this.
elf.
Grandma.
It's like the main elf in the North Pole was
Sure.
like, I shall save Christmas,
I
Santa.
will save all Christmas.
I can do it. Watch me. So like I think that's where that came through. So it's super cool though. But like, have you ever gotten something cool for Christmas that like somebody threw away? Like like you had the Voltron, right? Like,
Mhm.
did you get anything that was like super nerdy that you watched it get thrown away or
No.
no?
Did you?
Yes.
What was that?
Yes. Um got our Nintendo system, right? Or NES system. And I want to say as I got older in it, my sister took it to the pawn shop.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean it was like several years later, but she took it to the pawn shop.
Damn.
They gave her $20 for it.
Damn.
With a duck hunt gun, like there was at least 20
Damn,
games.
son.
20 games, and they gave her
Shit.
$20 for it.
Fuck.
Right? Bitch.
Dude.
Yeah, there was like what's the other thing? It didn't necessarily happen to me, but I cried. Okay? I cried for this. So my dad, my father, got with another lady who he's been married to.
Mhm.
She got rid of his Star Wars stuff.
Oh no.
The OG from the
Oh,
1970s Star Wars stuff.
No.
This is the same lady who sold all my Barbies and everything at a yard sale for like 50 cents
No.
that were still in the boxes. Right?
That's rough. That's really rough.
Dude, like the only reason why, because like you'll see, like I have a
She
son.
must have not had good Christmases. She must not.
She thinks she likes bougie stuff, but like she's quick to just throw it away and then go get something else. Like, I don't know. It's a different mentality. She never had to rough it.
Oh, well, I
Does
think
that
that's
make
what
sense?
It is. Yeah, because I mean,
Never had to rough it.
when you're
And she was not in nerd culture. She does not understand anything. Like my father had all these stompers. Do you remember
yeah, I remember
stompers?
Stompers.
And she was like, "Get rid of your toys." I'm like, never
You wanna
marry a
take the kid-
never.
You want to take the kid out of a person?
Never marry a spouse or be with someone who tells you to get rid of stuff. Like this crazy ex that didn't like Christmas. I mean, super nice person. We just didn't click. Obviously, made me get rid of my PlayStation 2. I had Midnight Club in there.
No,
I had
dude,
all
get
this
the fuck
stuff.
outta
Yep.
here.
Made me get rid of it.
Those are fighting words, dude.
Said you need
Mm.
to go out and get if you have enough time to video game, you've got enough time to get a second job.
Damn.
I was already in school full time. And I was already working full
Let me
time.
play my games, y'all.
Right?
Let me play my fucking games.
But yeah. So
Like
this-
what kind of present do you like to get? Like, is there a present now that you're older? Is there something that you enjoy? Like if somebody gives you a gift, like what are the gifts that you really like?
Pokemon cards? Duh. plushies, spiel.
Plushies and Pokemon cards.
To be quite honest with you, it would probably be like TCG cards,
Mhm.
books.
Oh, books. Yeah.
So like, or like gift cards to books,
Yeah.
like half price books, Barnes and Noble. If there was a Pals, it'd be Pals. Plushies for sure. Love. Obviously, I have a mad addiction, like a addiction to chocobos and moogles. As I'm looking back behind us, and Dratinis and Dragonites. Yeah, that must be a thing as well. Like anything Zelda. You see the printies, so I mean anything video game
Okay. Okay.
type of perspective. I'm trying to think of other things. I mean, you've seen this house. You see how much nerd
You've got
crap
a
there's
lot of
floating
nerd
around
shit.
here.
You got
Like,
a ton.
I am such the abnormal person where most people are like, "Ah, give me a Chanel or a Birkin." I'm like, yo, let's go get J's and books
And a spiel.
and
Give me a
spiels
spiel.
and crack packs. Like, I'm just so abnormal. It would be kind of those things, just nerdy shit. I enjoy it. I don't know why. Harry Potter things, obviously. You can see that here in the background. Just cool stuff. I love it. What about you?
Yeah. Card packs.
Well, now it is.
No,
I
no,
think
no. It's always been
really?
right. So for me, it's like sports cards, UFC cards, any cards, Magic cards.
I was like, did
I
I
just-
open the Gremlins?
I love
the
Christmas
mystery.
Day,
Uh-huh.
opening up the box, and
Yeah.
everyone is a present. Every single card pack is a present that I'm opening.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
it's so cool. Like
So
it's
you're not talking about like wrapping each pack in a box.
no, just the whole box, and then opening up each
Mystery boxes kill me.
one. Yeah, I like those. I like anything collectible, and then Jordans. Like if you get me a pair of Jordans, I am all. Over
I've
the
seen your
J's.
Jordan wall. It literally takes up your whole office. I don't.
Yeah, I have 52 pair right now. 53 pair actually of them. So
Well, you have some like Travis Scott. You got
Yeah,
some,
Travis
you
Scott.
over
I have a
here like
couple.
sneakerhead.
Yeah, so,
you got
like-
some cool stuff. I've
but-
seen some of your J's.
but it's
though.
a thought, right? Like if somebody comes and gives me some J's, I'm like, oh wow.
Well,
you
I mean, I
actually-
wouldn't say no.
You know
to
what
that.
I like. You know what I
Yeah.
like. So you obviously, take the time. Or cards. Like give me cards. I don't give a shit what kind of cards. I love all cards. Pokemon cards.
I was like,
Magic
we got
cards,
Yu-Gi-Oh, we got One Piece, we
Yu-Gi-Oh
got
cards,
Lord
One
Conan.
Piece.
I'm
It
trying to look
doesn't-
over here like
everything.
there's so many to
There's
unbox.
so many cool things like that I love them. So that's an easy way to get, something for me.
It's
for
like a
Christmas.
surprise in the way of your box.
Yeah, it is, dude. Like every pack is a surprise, and if you pull something really good, fuck yeah, dude, I win.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
Black Friday, Walmart had these tins for $15
Mhm.
from Evolving Skies. Bruh. There's people pulling the Umbreon card, which is like 1,700 right
Yeah,
now.
Yeah, which is
Like,
why
they
there's
were
a
cracking
frenzy
it.
for it.
Getting all the fights and stuff off Target for people getting the $20 ETBs.
People fighting over crazy shit, dude. It's like, oh,
You know
man.
what it reminds me of? I was watching these videos and I'm laughing because the internet's like, the audacity, da 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 da. Like, you had these grown men fighting over card packs. Let me tell you what, you've never seen fucked up shit than be standing in line at 4 o'clock in the morning on Black Friday at somewhere like a fucking Kmart where
A
they're
Walmart, a
where they're
Kmart.
giving away cookie tins to like the first 50 people. You want to see old ladies. And I didn't know it was a thing. I was like, nobody likes the shortbread cookies that much. It's the limited tins where they would store their sewing and
Oh
quilting
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
They were ramming other old ladies with their carts.
Oh yeah.
I remember the first Black Friday I ever went to with my aunt and her sister, and they have walkie talkies. And I thought, oh, okay, we're doing special ops. Like they picked
We're
me
doing
up.
special ops.
Well, they picked me
They're
up.
all dressed in black in
Well,
a van and
They
shit.
kind of were, but they had like they all had
They're
these,
all their ponytails are all up,
Well,
like they
no,
mean business,
they
dude.
did-
They're like, "What's up?" Let's
they
look
did
up.
buns. I mean, they're already tall, large ladies. Okay, so they look like they're already like squaring up to take defense on the football team, right? So they're putting their hair in buns, and they've got these ridiculous ears on. So whether they were antlers or an
Whatever.
elf hat, whatever, and it had bells and sequins. I mean, they would go over the top, and they would carry these walkie-talkies where they'd have strapped on, and they'd be like, they'd have a list of things they needed to do, and then like, I love it because my aunt Michelle, like her sister's name was Candy.
Mhm.
They'd be like, "Where are you, Candy?" I was like, "Are these code names?" Like,
Yeah, these code names. Woodchuck to gray squirrel. Woodchuck to gray squirrel.
so it was like 2:30 in the morning.
I'm at the appliance section. I need you here
They came,
ASAP.
they came and picked me up, and so I'm like, okay, because it's an hour to town, right? So we got there at like 3:30. You know, they like McDonald's would open up super early,
Yeah.
so we would go in. They would get coffee, and I'm like, I I just want hash browns. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a kid. That's all I fucking want. We just stood in line. They had a Kmart and they were giving away these tents. And I was watching this fuckery go down where these old ladies were ramming each other with shopping carts. And I was like, this is my first Black Friday. I'm like, this is like an 80-year-old women
Yeah.
are just ramming, going at it like a snail's pace. But I mean, they were hitting hard like a derby. And I was like, what the fuck
You're
did
like,
we just
what
walk
kind of
into?
fuckery is
So
this?
I'm watching where they're like, oh, these 20-year-old men are fighting over carts. And I'm like,
But they're not really fighting.
have you seen Grandma go nuts? I didn't see it. That dude didn't pick up
They
the
were just
dis-
pushing each other. It wasn't
yeah,
like
but
they
he
were
didn't pick
throwing
up the display and knock
No,
someone out.
no.
Even then, if it was cardboard, these ladies were taking steel and plastic and ramming it in the back of like Susan's lower back, like
Yeah.
who already had a cane. Like you're blowing her
What's
out.
crazy is that like for Best Buy, like people will line up for Best Buy for the TVs, right? And it's like a TV for like $200, whatever.
They always do that, like a Walmart,
Yeah,
Costco.
but they don't. What people don't understand is like that's a 720p TV. Like
They
who
don't
gives a
care.
shit,
They-
right? Like
they
nobody,
don't
but they don't
care.
care. It's
No.
about the
Nope.
deal. It's about the deal. That's what it's about.
There's one time from my aunt's fuckery, right? Because I went there when I was 11. That's when I did my first Black Friday, and I was like, no. The only other time that I ever did a Black Friday was when I had gotten like stationed, like moved out to SoCal, and I was with obviously the person I'm no longer with that didn't like Christmas. I wasn't allowed.
Scrooge.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to get a tree because trees were like $70.
Yeah.
And I wasn't allowed, like, I got a $5 a week allowance. Like, I wasn't allowed to get a tree. So I remember they had Christmas trees at Walmart for $20, right? And they already had lights on them. And that was like a big thing,
Yeah.
like years ago. I remember getting up, waiting in line down 2 blocks. And you got to think all I wanted was the fucking tree. Because it ended up being like $24 or something like after tax. I waited
Jesus.
2.5 hours for this tree because it's the only time I could get the tree. And I had saved weeks for this, right? Because,
$5.
which was like my food money. So I was
Yeah.
like saving it. I remember I got that tree and I was so excited. And people were like, is this all you're getting? And I was like, like I was so excited. I took it home and I love it. You know what's fucked up?
What?
That tree's downstairs. I
No
still
shit.
have that
You
tree.
still have the tree? That's fucking
I
awesome.
still have that tree. It's in my bedroom.
That is awesome. The
I
memories.
still
the
have
memories.
this fucking tree.
Yeah.
All these years ago, like, and it's crazy. That was like almost so many decades ago. But
Waiting
it was
in
like,
line for a tree.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
absolutely. Because when I buy something, I take care of it. I want
Yeah.
to make sure it stays around, like regardless of its cost. So I was like, this tree will be fucking mine. I'm not gonna ram anybody. Like someone's grandma, like they need to make stuff for Christmas and that sort of thing. Like I'm not gonna go nuts, but I need this tree. This is the only time I can get a tree without being total redneck and going to the park and chopping one down. Like this is all I get, right? So I was like, we had like the issued survival, like you get like an axe and shit, and I'm like, I'm ready to take this issued gear, go to this park
Chop down some
in
shit.
North County, San Diego, and chop me down a tree. Like I'm getting to that point. So yeah, it was just it was super cool. And like I said, nothing against, experts are super great friends. It's just didn't
It
mesh
just didn't
well.
work out.
Didn't mesh well.
Didn't mesh well. And wasn't meant
And
to be.
that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I still got my tree.
Tree's still here.
Tree's still here. So
He's not.
it's super cool. I remembered actually because my best friend actually took it to the dumpster, this tree.
What?
And I remember going like, because we're housemates and stuff. So I literally like went downstairs and I was like, what the fuck did you just take out to the dumpster? Oh, why? I took out that old fucking box in that tree. And I was like, you did what? Well,
Keep the fuck out.
well, that thing's old. So just fuck it. I'll get, we can just get another one. And I was like,
You're like the fuck you can.
go get my fucking tree. That box, go get my tree. You're not throwing out my tree. Go get my tree. And their look on their face was like, are you kidding me? Go get it. Go get my tree. We're about to fight right now. Go get my tree. No, I still got it.
Damn.
That thing
that's
has
cool.
been everywhere with me.
That's cool. And there's always ornaments that you collect, right? Like
Well, yeah, I have like family ornaments that
family
were like passed
ornaments,
down.
yeah, things like that.
There's like
Stuff that you made. Like my mom
Yeah.
collected all the shit that we made when we were in kindergarten. Or
dude.
whatever,
So like you
still
get
has.
those like the 3, like the pony beads.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'd made like you'll see it. Like if you go down and look at the traditional tree, it's got all the old
Yep.
ornaments and stuff on it. Like I love that stuff. The old metal ones where they would engrave like your birthday or the years, like a dog in a stocking or some stuff like that. Like yeah, I collect all that stuff. Like
Did,
one of my ornaments I had no idea was from 2014 because I love How to Train Your Dragon. Love that movie. That ornament's like $140 now is what people are trying to want for it. I'm like, y'all ain't getting my toothless. Fuck off.
wow.
Yeah, it's some of the Hallmark ones are ridiculous.
Really?
Mm,
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple of those.
I love Hallmark
Yeah,
ones.
I have the Slave Leia ornament from Hallmark
Oh,
Ornament.
the actual slave
Yeah,
one when
yeah.
they could
When they could do it.
make that and sell that.
Yeah, I have that one, stuff like that. But it's so cool. Like I wish that the feeling that goes around during the time of
Hmm.
Christmas is something that can be carried on throughout the year, right? Because it's like you're always about giving and helping and wanting to help the less fortunate. Because I mean, we were the less
Always like
fortunate
pay it
growing up,
forward.
right?
Oh, so
So
was I. Like we would go to church and stuff for like they would have like meals for
mhm.
Christmas and I was just like, "Oh, we get to go for food." Like I had no
Or
idea
go to the
the pay food
get
pantries.
free presents,
Yeah.
from
Yep.
the poor folks. You were poor, so you stood in line and got free presents.
Yeah, we didn't know that like at church they would do it where like they would have the kids come in and Sam would give you something
Yeah,
small for
yeah,
like
something.
the demographic. Like we had no idea like that was a thing. But see, my grandma was very savvy. And so for the longest time, for many years as a kid, and like I said, we would just get a few presents, but we would make our stuff.
Yeah.
Like if we were giving something to someone, it was something we made or we crafted, or it could have been like the smallest thing, like a bracelet set. My grandma was very savvy with, painting and seamstress, which is turnip doesn't fall off, from the truck far. She would do all that stuff. So she would make me like a bunch of scrunchies. And even though she taught me how to make them, but she would make me like a bunch of scrunchies. She would take like old sweatpants or sweatshirt from one of my uncles and stuff, and like or my aunt like size it down for me and stuff, and throw some like bows on it to make it girly. Like she would just do like cool stuff like that. So we would always make things. She would cast her own ceramics because she had a
Mm,
kiln, so she'd
mm.
pour and make her own ceramics and glaze it and paint it. So I think one of the last gifts I got from her was like a Precious Moments nativity scene
Oh, cool.
that she actually poured from the molds and painted. Um, and she wrapped it up in a paper towel, each piece, and then put it in a gift bag. And I never opened it till last year.
Really?
So that's 20,
Wow.
22 years
That's
ago,
cool.
24 years ago.
That's
Yeah.
very cool. Holy shit.
So that was kind of cool. Because I mean, I saw my aunt get one, so I knew kind of like what it looked like.
What was going to be?
But then she gotten sick 2 days. Well, she gotten sick on my birthday that year. And then we lost her literally that following March.
Mm.
So
So you just kept it.
I never, yeah, because I mean, I was on the ICU room floor with her for
I got it.
months. So it wasn't, you kind of forgot about it.
Are you
with all
are you
that
the kind of
stuff.
person that like looks at the gift and goes, "I think I know what that is." You shake it. You
I
like,
don't have to shake it.
you just kinda-
Usually, dude, it's like witchcraft.
you just
Usually I
kinda
can
know.
narrow it
You're
down.
like,
I'll be
"Ooh,
like,
it's
yep.
it's card packs,
So I used to do this
the
as a
booster box."
I used to do this when I was younger. My mom, like, this one time, when I was a teenager, she had wrapped gifts and put them in the living room. And I was like, well, what's this big tall one? And she's like, I'm not going to tell you. I was like, give me one clue. Because we used to play the one clue
Oh,
game.
you did. Oh,
And she goes, it starts with a K. I was like, oh, keyboard. She's like, what? And I said, K. It's not a kite, so it's a keyboard. And she was just like, so I didn't get it because I guessed it.
that'll teach you. That'll teach you to guess shit.
Yeah, so I learned not to play that
Lesson
game.
learned.
I learned not to play that game with my mom, but usually like I'm pretty good at like I'm definitely super good with that just because I can hone in on things. Like if it's somebody I don't know, I do get stumped. But if it's and I don't shake things if I don't have to.
If I don't have to, you're
If I
like,
don't have
shit. That's
to.
like I gotta.
But for like people that I know, it's so hard to surprise me with things. Just because I'll be like process of element like my best friend. I'll be like, oh, you got me this, this, and this. And I'll be like,
So, given
What
the
the fuck?
fact that your birthday's so close to Christmas,
2 days after actually.
how did that go growing up for you? Was that like, did you just get the Christmas gift and your
You
birthday,
know-
you just got a cake or whatever?
My mom feels guilty for this, and I will tell you why. My mom went into labor with me on Christmas.
Mm.
Okay. My mom's a cunt. right? She'll tell you she's a cunt because a cunt doesn't fall far from the other cunt, right? So you know how this works, right? So she went into labor on Christmas, and her doctor, who was a male, was out of town.
Right.
He was in Philadelphia or something with family, and they only had a female doctor on staff. And she hates females. She hates females. She loves females. So she goes, delay it.
Jesus Christ.
I don't want this lady as my doctor. Delay it. So they delayed it.
So she held on.
I
I don't know how she did it, but she held on.
This is probably why I was born super fucking early
That's
on
why
the
you got the
27th.
tiz, bro. That's why you got the tiz.
Right? Thanks, Mom. But yeah, so it was like 6:12 or something in the morning.
jeez.
Mom was like, it was super quick. Because my mom didn't have an epidural, nothing. She had all of us natural. Bless her.
Damn.
At 110 pounds she is. But
Damn.
it was like super quick, but like she kind of feels guilty for that. So she was always like, she would always do something small to separate it. So we would always we'd have all the families to go to on Christmas Day. The day after Christmas, we got to play with our stuff.
Yep.
So I would get like board games, crush everyone in Monopoly. You know how this
Right.
works.
Do the thing.
Do my thing, And then for my birthday, she would have like family over. We would do cake. And then I would, open a few presents from whoever. Because I didn't have any friends in school, so I never had any friends come over. I had one birthday party, I think, when I was 11, and my mom had gotten everyone a bunch of Lisa Frank stuff to give away, and I was fucking pissed because I didn't like these girls enough for them to have my Lisa Frank, which if you can't tell by the lounge license, if I'm obsessed with Lisa Frank, because it was like Neon's Brights, like I freaking loved the whole vibe with it. So I was so mad. I was like, I'm never doing this again, because all my tiz triggers were pushed, and I ended up spending half the night in the bathroom,
Crying.
pissed off.
Oh.
Singing Hotel California because I had on my freaking Walkman, the Eagles. I literally was just listening to the Eagles the whole night. I was pissed.
Oh my God.
So I went and listened to music.
So
I think I had in Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I was flipping through Led Zeppelin, the Eagles, and Foreigner.
So how was it for you then as you got older?
They never combine them.
No?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, that's good. At least it wasn't combined.
Even if it was, Christmas is so magical for me that it was like, I get a fucking tree on my birthday. Like, Christmas tree stays up till Valentine's Day. I don't care what anyone says. And people that know me on stream know that my tree stood up the whole time.
That's the deal.
I took the tree down finally when Loki's birthday came around, like in March. But yeah, no, I just love it. Like, it's no different. I mean, I miss having the snow. I miss it being cold. Doing that sort of thing, having like hot tea on the birthday. But yeah, no, I know.
So like when you're now that you're, older
Old.
and you've got stuff going on, like how does your birthday go? Do you celebrate it? Like, do you go
I'm
out?
just a hermit.
Do you do things? Or
I'm
do
a
you just
hermit.
order Amazon and it comes and you're like, oh, cool, my birthday.
No, I'm just a hermit. I sit at home. This sounds so bad, but like I just sit at home because everyone's traveling and driving, and I just don't want to deal with people. That I just sit at home and kind of loaf it. Like last year was different though. Last year I went to Half Price Books and got, however many years I turned, which I'm immortal, so you can tell how many books I got. It was just, so I did that, and then like it was like super cool. And then I was just, so I like had a little book thing, my best friend and I, we went, and I just kind of went to all these different half price books and like scored some really cool fucking shit. Like I've got all the first editions of Legend of Dritz in hardbacks. So it was definitely a win-win for me on the nerd spectrum. I was super excited about that, but I don't like a lot of noise. I don't like a lot of chaos. And I don't like slingshotting, so I don't like going to like 15 different places.
No, you like just one place. If
One or two, and then that's it. Like it's nothing crazy, but yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
My dad's birthday is the same day yours.
I know, that was just so weird.
Yeah.
I never know anyone. And actually what's crazy enough is I just learned, because I've been going to my nail lady, because she's from Philly, oddly enough, for 2 years. She moved out here and she hates it as well. And they're the ones that can do the stiletto crazy points, because it's very Christmassy if you guys can't see it. And we have the same birthday. Oddly
That's
enough,
so cool.
it's so
That's
cool.
cool.
So last year in the morning, I went, um, and we celebrated her birthday together. Like she worked on her birthday, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna come get my nails done then." And I brought her like birthday stuff, and like we just had like a little birthday thing for her.
Oh, cool.
So it was like super cool, and she like did a cool thing for my birthday nail, and it was just like a birthday gift to a birthday gift, and it was pretty rad.
I like that.
It was super cool.
Yeah, we usually have a party for my dad. He likes throwing parties.
Oh yeah,
So
your dad's crazy.
my dad likes to have a party at his house, and
Your dad is so
we
extroverted.
just go to town.
He's so extroverted.
Yeah, he's funny, dude.
He's
My
hysterical.
dad cracks me up.
He's hysterical. But yeah, no, we usually just it's usually just super chill because then you got New Year's.
Yeah, New Year's.
And I never go out New Year's.
No.
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 There's too much of a liability as far as with the people. I don't really drink.
Yeah, and then people like
And
doing
then
crazy shit. And
People
like,
are just obnoxious and they're rude, and people, you know,
after midnight, shit gets crazy.
I'd
Yeah.
rather not.
Yeah, no, I
I
agree with you.
bartended for years. I'm like, I'd rather not. I've seen the fuckery go down.
There's a lot of fuckery that goes down.
And I'd rather not end up in jail for beating the fuck out of someone. So orange don't look good on me, bro. It doesn't look good. I'd rather not. And stripes are not flattering.
No, we don't want you in orange.
You
I don't want to
know?
have to go bail your ass out, dude. That would
No,
not be
and
good.
it would be a hefty bail. I'm just gonna tell you now. Because if I'm going to jail, I'm fucking someone up pretty good. That's all there is to it. If first time I ever, knock on wood, hope it doesn't happen. First time I ever get, taken downtown for fingerprinting, it's gonna be a damn good fucking reason. I've got.
Better make it good.
I've never had any issues with that, despite all my speeding that I've been racing that I've been pulled over for. So
Do you have a favorite, like, aside from the cartoons, do you have a favorite Christmas movie? Is there one that you like that's super memorable for you?
oh my gosh, there's one actually that just came out
Hmm.
a few years ago that, I mean, mine is always going to be like Polar Express. I
Oh.
love Elf, which is one of the only Will Ferrell movies I can actually
Mhm,
tolerate,
mhm.
oddly enough. Like, I feel like he's the same.
He's the same character.
Jim Carrey and the Grinch, hands down. I'm a big Jim Carrey fan. We know that. I want to cosplay from Ace Ventura so bad. That one is definitely it. There's a new one that came out a couple years ago that really didn't get a lot of attention as much as it should. Was called Arthur,
Hmm.
and it's an animation one, but they did all the face captures. All this is done by face capture, and it kind of looks like it could be a Pixar, but it's not.
Oh.
It's so good. It's so good.
Hmm.
That was a good one. And then hold up, there was another one that was, I think it was. You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah. So
Um,
mine, I have a couple, right? Die Hard, of course.
Die Hard, a Christmas movie.
It absolutely is a fucking Christmas movie.
Hold on.
But when I was growing up, it was Scrooge. I thought Scrooge was like,
I loved it.
I loved watching Scrooge. And then Miracle on 34th Street
I've never
was
seen
another
that.
really good one that I really liked. And then of course Polar Express, because I mean that's timeless. Like I love that. That movie's fantastic. Fantastic.
Hold on. I'm asking my best friend. I know Polar Express. I was like, what's the name of this one? It was like Polar Express. I know it's Polar Express because I literally went on this rant about it. I'm trying to think. Which is probably why you were laughing at me the other day when I was like, hot chocolate. When I was like running around.
Yeah, Polar Express is great.
Hold on.
You're like, I don't know the name.
That's it. No,
it's
not that
new.
one. I
It's
literally
new.
just said not that one.
Drawing a blank.
No, because Arthur was a good one. And this
Yep.
one was.
What's the premise?
Hold on.
You're like, I will know. I will know.
Claus.
Oh, Claus.
That's it. Thank you. Yes, Claus. So, it's magic.
Mm.
So they talk about so what it is, basically kind of in a summary that Christmas loses, like everyone turns negative and everyone's like grouchy and everyone loses the spirit of Christmas. Well, like this bougie Duke, his son, was super pompous and didn't go to classes and like all this other stuff. And so his dad was like, "You're going to lose your title. I'm taking everything away from you. And for you to learn a lesson," because he wasn't going to these. And he's like, "You're now going to go work for the post, the mail, like the
Post
Royal
office.
Mail."
Yeah.
And the postmaster, like, "You're going to get a job." And the postmaster sends him to this remote location where you got to take a ferry to
Oh.
get to it on this little island. And every post person they've had on this island, they've killed them, or they've, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of dark.
Okay.
Initially as it sets out. And then like he gets there and they like give him this abandoned outhouse that's got like holes in it, snow
And
or
that's where he's
whatever.
supposed to stay.
He has nowhere to
Oh
go.
shit.
All of his money's taken from him, his phone,
He's got
all of
nothing.
his luxury, it's gone. And so he has to, he's all making these, people are like, this town has two families, kind of like the where they're fighting over each other.
Mhm.
Right, fighting over who's going to control the town. And so there's two different groups of people attacking. And
Yep.
when they ring the bell, then there's a war. It's just kind of like this little civil war in the middle of this small little
Small
town,
island.
right? And but it's not. It's like a wintry island. Okay, so it's cold. There's snow. It's like Nordic. And so he's like going down this route, like to make mail to drop this off, and there's like this really nice cabin in the woods. And he's like, "Well, everything else is destroyed. What's up with here?" And he goes, investigates. And he finds this shed when he opens it, and it's all these immaculate wooden carved toys.
Mm.
And it just like feels amazing. And then I got goosebumps. And then you just see like the shadow of like this big guy behind him, whatever, and he shuts it. And Santa looks like Krampus. Like he looks
He's a
scary as fuck. And
badass.
he's like, "Get the fuck out of here." Like, yeah, he's very aggressive with him. So he leaves and then he keeps coming back and he figures out like at this, I don't want to any spoilers, but like Santa had lost Mrs. Claus at this thing. So like
Oh, boy.
she was the one that had the magic, and like that's where the whole magic of Christmas was, them believing in each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, it ended up being a freaking amazing thing, and it really kind of brought back the traditional Christmas feel in
Okay.
a modern world type
Yeah.
of thing. But it was all done like it was captured, like it was so good.
I'm gonna
It
have
was
to watch that. I haven't
so
seen that
good.
one. Yeah.
It's so good. And it didn't get a lot of
Not a lot of hype.
no. Because I think it's like a Netflix or like a Hulu special.
Okay.
I'll show you right now. But it was so good. And I was like, how is this a thing? Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Oh, there we go.
And it's like
Claws.
this.
Okay. I
Yeah.
have to watch that.
With the posts and
I
stuff.
have to see
So
it.
I mean, you guys can see it. It's super cool. But yeah, you're like, what the heck? It just turns everything just completely
What about
around.
your favorite Christmas song?
You're really asking me this.
Yes.
What do you think it would be? What do you guys think my favorite Christmas song would be?
What's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh boy. My favorite thing that I know from freaking heart, 12 Days of Redneck Christmas.
Yeah, there's two that I really like.
By Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah, Jeff Foxworthy. Little Drummer Boy
Okay.
is very good.
I like how you go the traditional classics.
And
I
White
go-
Christmas. I'm dreaming of a White Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, White Christmas. What channel
But those
was that
are
on?
those are actually really good. I like those.
Yeah, I
both of
mean, they're
those.
good. They're good. Of course, and I'm over here like 12 Redneck Days of
Yeah,
Christmas
well, you know,
by
that's
Jeff
where,
Foxworthy.
that's where you came from. So I'm just saying.
But it's funny because like you'll hear the 12 Days of Christmas like singing on the thing, and I'm over here 10 to Copenhagen, 9 years probation, 8 table dancers, like, and some parts too on Mustang GT. Like I'm sitting here doing this, and people are looking at me like,
Like, what is
"What
going
the
on?
fuck
with
are
this?
you singing?" I'm
What
like,
kind of fuckery is this?
"But if this doesn't tell you anything, do you remember Ray Stevens, the comedian?
Yeah.
You remember him,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Completely." I mean, redneck off
Mhm.
the corners in the 70s, right? So he did this thing, and I don't know why my father and I still do it. I have no idea. But my dad would give me tapes of Ray Stevens because he thought it was the most hysterical thing ever. So there's a thing on there where Ray Stevens gets on there and he's like, "Yee, yee, 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 yee. It's me, Margaret." Like, because he's calling this random lady from the jail
God.
and harassing her
Yeah.
and was like, "What are you wearing?" Like, and do that. I don't know why, but like, so my dad, when he plays phone tag, he'll be like, "It's me again, Margaret." And I'm like, this is why I am why I
Yeah,
am.
this we learned a lot more about you there.
Yeah, we sure did.
We sure did,
We sure
Margaret. We
did.
learned a lot about you, Margaret.
But yeah, it would actually be the 12 Redneck Days of Christmas. I guess because like where I grew up, very country and rural, I'm on the bus for an hour during Christmas. The bus driver thought religiously we are going to play Kick FM. Like, we are going to play country the whole bus trip. And I'm the first one on and the last one off, brah. So like, I'm at the back of I'm listening to all this, and they would play Redneck 12 Days of Redneck Christmas at least for the hour and 15-minute bus
Oh
ride.
my
It would at least
God.
play 4 times.
Fuck, dude.
4 times. In between some Faith Hill, doing her thing, Martina McBride doing
That's
her
something
thing.
you will never forget.
Shania Twain doing her thing, you'd get Jeff Foxworthy 12 Days of Redneck Christmas. And I thought that was I don't know if the Tiz caught it or if the ADHD, but I would be like, 5 flannel shirts, 4 Big Mac tires, 3 shotgun shells, 2 hunt dogs, and some parts to a Mustang GT. And I would just be bobbing to that the whole time. I don't even know why.
He actually has his own. They came out with a slot machine for Jeff Foxworthy.
Of course
a while
they
back.
did. Of course.
Back
they
when he
did.
was like really hyped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course he did. Because that's when he was doing the tour. And
Yeah,
then
he
you
was.
had
Yeah, he was super
Larry
popular.
the Cable Guy.
Oh
and
yeah,
then you
Larry
had
the Cable
Ron
Guy.
Tater
Yeah,
Salad.
yeah.
The whole thing. But yeah.
Ron
mhm.
Tater salad.
They call me Tater Salad. Why is Ireland the way she is? Well, I'll give you one
my
clue. It's gonna
goodness,
be that.
y'all.
And this is how we're starting our Christmas podcast special.
Yes.
You guys get to deal with this for the next 4 weeks. I am sorry, but not sorry.
It is all Christmas all the time. We've hit
Christmas.
December. That's what this means. God help me.
Welcome to the fuckery.
Welcome to the fuckery.
You can't go back working for Amazon now.
Welcome to the fuckery, Margaret. And on that note, y'all, thank you
Tis
so
out.
much for listening to us. I hope
Happy
you guys love it.
December, and
Have a great December, and we'll see you again soon.
Tis out.
Bye,
Christmas.
Margaret.
Yee, 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 yee.